Welcome to bLU Talks.
Hi, everyone. Thank you guys so much for being here. It really is lovely to be in a room, again, with so many familiar faces and also new faces. So my name is Jaide Izon, as you just heard, and I'm here to talk to you today about demystifying the chakras. Many people dismiss or mistake the chakra system as mystical woo-woo. They feel that it's intangible, impractical, inaccessible, and depending on who you ask, totally fake. Which is fine, we're not asking them. But really, in truth, the system is ancient and natural and chock full of so much wisdom if you just know how to discern and learn to tune into those frequencies and utilize them as a foundational map for yourself. I can guarantee you that whether you realize it or not, you have been interacting with these systems every single day. So what I want to do for you is I want to demystify the chakras, not to rob you of their magic, but to just install a brand new lens and give you the capacity to see that magic, that intrinsic design that is all around you, and more importantly, within you at all times. I want you to think about the last time that you found it really hard to express yourself. Maybe you had to come clean about something. Maybe you had to give somebody some bad news. Maybe you're speaking in front of a room full of people about mystical woo-woo. You felt a lump in your throat, a closing of those airways. You might describe it as, I feel choked up, or in classic stage presence, I choked. It sucked. Maybe you drop down into your tummy, and you think about the last time you saw something that was really hard to see. Maybe you're somebody who gets squeamish at a horror movie or watching the news, like I do. Or maybe you just got some really bad news, and that's really difficult. And we use words like, that's hard to digest. You know, that was really hard for me to stomach. And we'll feel that nausea, that lump in there too. And we tune up into the heart. And we feel the clenching of the heart when we feel grief, when we feel loss, or the opening when we feel love and excitement. We describe these things as heartbreak, right? These are all main energy hubs inside your body that you are constantly interacting with, and you subconsciously know how to describe them as well and tune into them. So I like to first start off with the human experience to better understand how we can relate with the chakras. As humans, we experience things through our senses, right? Physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And we live in a world where everything is polarity. Everything has an equal or opposite too. We have left, we have right, we have up, we have down, we have smiles, frowns, anger, joy, fear, love. And the chakras are an interfacing system for all those experiences, constantly responding to you, constantly responding to those experiences that are here in life and that you're thinking and feeling. They tune into those individual frequencies and give you this opportunity to find what feels good and what doesn't feel good for you, constantly re-steering you in a direction if you're willing to listen to it. Oh, this is the wrong slide, but that's okay. We're going to roll with it. So we have the root chakra. Okay? This is located at the base of the spine. This is your safety, your security, survival. It's attached into your instinct literally just to survive. It is attached to your adrenal glands and your fight, flight, freeze system. Okay? And we move up into the sacral chakra. This here is the water, the emotional flow, where our five senses are activated, It's tied into your vagus nerve, which moves through your entire system and helps you feel good or not so good. We have your solar plexus chakra, and that's here. This is our fire. This is the space that is also connected to our digestive system. And for anybody that knows anything about gut health, well, that's where 90% of your serotonin is actually comprised, which is a happiness chemical. Okay? Again, coming back to what I digest, heart to stomach. And we have our heart chakra, right? How we open and give to receive love, how we may close off to it depending on how we feel vulnerable. We have our throat chakra, the expression of our authentic selves. Our third eye. Did you know that there is actually rods and cones that are similar to the eye structure inside of your third eye that's connected to your pineal gland and your pituitary gland? But it's not just where we have our intuitive notions. It's also how we organize our thoughts. It's how we focus our thoughts. It's how we are able to discern our reality as well. And then we have the crown chakra, which connects us to all of that fabric of all living things in space here on Earth. So when we look at this filtration system and we break it down into these components, we get an opportunity to see it as just that, a filtration system, a rainbow filtration system, if you will, that are all individually tuned in to different light density and sound. And each are connected into that physical and non-physical space of whether it be our physical bodies, mental, emotional bodies, spiritual bodies, and everything that happens in existence around us through contrast and through polarity, showing us and redirecting us into our perfect alignment. And similarly, we have, what's really neat about it, is that we have at the heart center, we have 3 above, and we have 3 below. Everybody's heard that saying, as above, so below. Well, isn't it our life's purpose to want to live from heart-centered joy? Isn't that what we want to do? Right? So if our safety and security and survival isn't feeling that great, how do we expect our emotional wellness to feel? If our emotional wellness isn't feeling that great, how do we expect our creative fire to feel? How do we take action in our lives? What might that action look like? If we don't feel inspired to take action in life, how's that going to weigh on our heart? How might we express ourselves? Is it going to be authentically? Is it going to be honest? Is it going to be in integrity? Are we going to feel empowered to make these decisions? How might we think? Is it going to feel clear, or is it going to feel clouded? Are we going to be able to access our gifts? Or are we not going to trust those messages when they come through? Right? And similarly, how can we feel that support from divinity, from Creator, if all of this is out of alignment and doesn't feel well? It all interconnects. What a lot of people don't know about the chakras is that they're also partnered. We have the earth, the root chakra, the support from Mama Gaia. Well, if we don't feel safe and we don't feel supported and we don't feel connected to what's here on earth, how can we feel connected to what's above? In the crown, in that infinite love. If we don't feel emotionally well, again, how are we going to be thinking and feeling? Who here remembers a time where they felt emotionally well and were able to think straight? Yeah, no one. That's right. And if we don't feel in alignment with our fire, how are we going to express ourselves? These two are paired as well. And we've all seen this pendulum swing in excess and deficiency as well. We've all met the person who is quiet that all of a sudden rages out, needing to be heard and seen because they just haven't been heard and seen for so long, and that fire is diminished. We've also heard the deafening silence of the person who talks too much and a lot go really deadly quiet. That's me. That's mine. And it becomes a little scary, right? And again, similarly, we come back into the heart. How can we live from a heart-centered space if all of these places are out of alignment? It just doesn't work. All of these spaces relate in anatomically. They all relate and respond psychologically. They all relate emotionally and impact our spirit and our purpose and our magic. So how do we start utilizing this system practically in order to tune into what it is that we want to do with our lives? Who here has said yes to something, doing something, when they really meant no? Yeah, right? And how did it really feel to give from that place, right? Yeah, faces like that, that's a perfect description. It's terrible, right? It's draining, right? It doesn't feel good. It makes us feel heavy. Now, who here, similarly, has said no to something when they really meant yes? Right? Yeah, maybe they really wanted to do it, right? Like, oh, I do want to do that, but I don't have the time. I don't have the confidence. I don't have the energy. And how does that feel? Yeah, blah, and sad. Makes us heavy yet again, right? These things carry density inside of our bodies. And unfortunately, we have grown in a society that has kept us disconnected from these spaces, and we've been taught to ignore our body's wisdom, put ourselves last, and to ignore all these subtle cues that are screaming at us all the time. Please listen to me. I know what you want, I know what you need, and trust me, it's all gonna be great. Just do the thing. But we've been taught that worth versus productivity is a factor, so we push that aside. We've been taught that everybody else has to come first, so we put that aside. We've been taught that I don't have time to stop and do that, right? I need coffee instead of water, right? I need a nap instead of going and exercising. And we're all guilty of it because that is how we've been conditioned to live in this world. We've been taught right from the get-go to ignore these very, very real things that live inside of us. So how do you start? Well, you start by honoring your authentic yeses and nos in those small acts of integrity to yourself. Because how can you hear your gifts and how can you feel empowered in yourself if you know that you're constantly undermining the messages that you're hearing? How can you hear and feel everybody says, I want to open my third eye? And you're like, well, did you feed yourself today? Did you listen to your body and what it needed today? How are you going to trust any of those messages that come in? How are you going to trust your purpose? How are you going to trust your magic and stand empowered inside of that fire if you are continually undermining yourself and conditioning yourself to believe that you are untrustworthy? We have to start by giving these small acts of integrity to ourselves and listening to our body's wisdom, because it's offering it here to us all of the time through this really beautiful system, might I add, that is very real. So if there's one thing that I can really give you out of all of this, is that this foundational map that we get, this roadmap of our chakras, they get to break things down into different categories that relate in these ways. And we can ask ourselves, where am I feeling most out of alignment? Where am I not feeling balanced? And retrospectively, we can give ourselves that medicine and say, okay, this is where I feel out of alignment. What do I need to do to care for myself in these ways to bring myself back into alignment? And the more we honor these authentic yeses and nos, the more that we sit there and give ourselves this integrity of listening to this beautiful space, the more we give that awareness in and say, hey, what do I actually need? The more you'll be able to realign and step into that unique vibration and frequency that you are, because you are unique, and everything that you have to offer is valuable when you can stand inside of that with clarity and authenticity and express that magic like you were born to do. Honor yourselves. You are magical, and you have a beautiful system inside of yourself that relates to everything, physical and non-physical, and it is here asking you to step back into who you really are and remember that purpose. Remember that magic. Treat your temple, your body, your mind, your spirit with the love that it deserves, so you can live from your heart. And you can deliver that special medicine and magic that is you, because nobody can do it the way that you can do it. And that's just the truth. There's no such thing as scarcity, because we're all here to deliver that unique medicine. And I aim to demystify this system for people, again, not to rob you of the magic, but just so you can see it more practically, more efficiently, and start utilizing it so you can step in and spread that unique message that is yours. Because I guarantee you, now more than ever, that is the most important thing. It is our top priority to step into that magic that we are, and do that from empowerment, and do that from a space that honors all aspects of who we are, bringing all of those spaces, the mind, the heart, the body, into perfect alignment. So that's what I want to leave you with today, is that you are magical. These systems do exist, and you can utilize them by honoring yourself and breaking them down and allowing them to be utilized for your highest good. And that's all.